In 1898, Ebenezer Howard published his book To-morrow, A Peaceful Path to Real Reform, in which he introduces the idea of combining the positive aspects of the town and the countryside and introduces the concept of the garden city. In 1902, Howard republished his book under a different name, called Garden Cities of Tomorrow. This version was more focused on the concept of the garden city, which he introduced in the book before. The garden city was a plan to address the issues of urbanization, such as overcrowding, pollution, and lack of green spaces. The garden city would try to fix that. In 1903, 5 years after the release of his original book, Ebenezer Howard designed the very first garden city, Letchworth Garden City. After publishing the first book, Howard set up an organization to get support for the idea of the garden city. He then later, after the second book was published, tried to raise funds and started searching for a place suitable to implement the ideas. 1 year later, the first foundations were laid in Letchworth, to try and find out if the plan of the garden city was realistic. Howard states in this book that people should not move to the overcrowded cities, but they should live in the countryside. Howard wanted to draw up a plan that would achieve this. He wanted to make a system that would make the country more attractive to workaday people than the town and make sure people in the country have equal opportunities as people in the city. Howard also mentioned that every city may be seen as a magnet and each person as a needle. When you make one place more attractive, the magnet grows more powerful and it attracts more needles, and thus people. This brings us to the free magnets. The idea of the garden city stems from the free magnets, also something that Howard came up with. In this kind of infographic, Howard shows the positive and negative sides of both the town and the country. He asked the central question, the people, where will they go? Besides showcasing the magnets of the country and the town, Howard also made a third magnet, town country. This magnet would be the basis for the ideas behind the garden city. He would combine the positives of both the town and the country. Ebenezer Howard drew up the extremely comprehensive plan of the garden city. He included how many people should live in the city, what institutions there should be, where everything should go. He had a very detailed answer for the question, what should go where and why. In the garden city that Howard designed, he wanted a lot of cooperation. The community was very important. Howard wanted people to live amongst nature, the positive sides of the country. With green belts, green spaces and parks was getting the feeling of living in the urban. Howard thought of everything important in the city, and not only how it would look and be built. In a world of fast urbanization, Ebenezer Howard was someone who pointed out the negative sides of this. In most urban spaces there was a lack of nature. Howard was the one who drew up a plan to incorporate nature into the city and make it more country-like. This opened the doors for a lot of planners and designers to come. In the future, more and more people started to see the importance of nature and try to implement this in their plans. The concept of green belts, for example, comes from the garden city and addresses the importance of green space. A lot of critique stems from the fact that there is little flexibility in the plan of the garden city, which makes it hard to achieve. As Terry van Dijk said in the course of Power of Design, a good plan needs flexibility. The garden city does not have this. There is also criticism around the fact that there are a lot of costs involved in realizing this plan. Garden cities not only need to be designed and built, it is also important that the principles are always being followed, which costs money. Even though there is critique, which there always is, it is undeniable that the garden city built a foundation on welcoming green spaces in cities which can be seen in a lot of places nowadays. I think you can still say Ebenezer Howard has quite the legacy.